Hey, what's going on? What's going on out there, Buck fans? Happy Wednesday. We're another week closer to NFL season. If you don't know, the tush push is still in, but that's okay because the Bucs have the secret formula to stop it, and that's called Desmond Watson and Vita Vea. So again, welcome to another great episode of Bucs Report, the aftermath on 102.9, the Game, Broad Street South Radio. One of your hosts, AJ, turn up in the house. I hope you are doing good. Get your rum, get your cigar, get your cannon, and let that shit loose. We got Slick, aka the British guy, is always fly on standby. Slick, what's going on? How you doing, living, sir?
I'm living good, brother. Undefeated. Our defense is currently is averaging 5 points a game. Scored on us. So you're gonna win with that formula, right?
That's Todd Bowles. That sounds like Todd Bowles energy right
there. We're getting there. We had a really good week. There's two teams we got donuts on this week as well. This year so far. So this was a division we stepped up in division, right? So we got promoted into a tougher level of football, and we're taking it like to ducks to water, man. It's been cool. And we brought in a DB guru. Who's got 2 national championships to his name, has played at the country level, has represented the country as a coach. So it's enriching my knowledge because we're defensive back coaches, which is a little bit of a weird one because obviously it's been my job for so long. But to have someone to work with someone like that at that level, it can only enrich me. So I'm looking at it from all the positives and not the negatives.
Oh, man. Hey, shout out to you. And speaking of that, guys, we're going to be basically interviewing Coach Slick in a little bit because we're going to discuss football. Because one thing that we want you to do, we are fans of the game first, then the Bucs, but we also have experience behind this. We have people who coached this game. So we want to let you know that when we talk football, it's not just us regurgitating bullshit you hear from the media. It's not shit that we're guessing. We're giving you good football facts. We can give you good football theories as well. But again, a lot of our shit is solidified by our resume and our experience. So this is why for anybody out there, including Buck fans, if you want to get on here and have Buck talk with us or just football, we are all open ears. We just want you to understand, for a lot of you out there, if you don't know, you don't know. That's why we're here to educate. Not humiliate, educate. But
absolutely,
before we even go further, we get into that, and we're going to talk about the Bucs and Slick. But we're going to get this one big-ass giant conversation out, and I'm the guy to do it. And yes, I'm talking to certain people when it comes to this Ryan Clark situation and this RG3, Angel Reese, and Caitlin Clark situation. I'm going to paint a big picture. I'm just going to speak the biggest thing. First things first. Robert and Ryan Clark, for them personally, don't know them. I'm not on either side. I'm about what's right and what's wrong. Now, football for sports people, I'm talking to everybody worldwide, from England to United States, Africa, wherever. I want you all to do something that we used to do back in the day. You know what that is? Stick to fucking sports. Let's focus on the input of what the players are doing in their profession and not be so fucking worried about what they're doing outside. If you want to see drama, go watch a reality fucking TV show. Go watch a movie. Go read a novel about drama. What we want to do is focus on these players' profession. Now, if their outside influences or their activities fuck with their profession, then we can discuss that. But this is not about fucking views anymore. It's pissing me off. And the reason why, because when we use race, especially in hard times like this in America, when it's not meant to, that's a problem. It's a problem when we're not talking about, when we bring wives, children into this. To make a long story short, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, if you're under a rock, Robert Griffin III had made a basketball sports guest that Angel Reese does not like Caitlin Clark because of a small foul that Caitlin did to Angel Reese, and she crashed out and almost wanted to attack her. Robert Griffin said that Angel Reese does not like her, which possibly is true, but we'll get down to that. We'll break that down. But then Ryan Clark got on his Pivot podcast and said that he doesn't know what it's like because Robert Griffin, because he goes home to a white woman and a white wife, mind you, talked about his white wife and like, oh, it just brung her up and said that she doesn't understand the frustrations that Angel Reese goes through because she's black in the perception. Now, Robert Griffin defending himself, and I'm proud of him. I'm telling you this right now, Ryan Clark. What the fuck did that have to do with basketball? Robert Griffin didn't say anything about race. He was talking about Angel Reese as the basketball player not liking Caitlin Clark. Now, we can go down that rabbit hole, but we're not trying.
Oh, they definitely don't like it, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong. You're not supposed to like everyone.
But Ryan Clark, shut the fuck up about other people's wives. Shut the fuck up about what they do at home. You don't know that. And another thing that you did that Slick we can all attest to this because you've been in the locker room. You broke the code by talking about shit that happened behind the scenes. So Ryan, if you got an issue with Robert, then you need to address that shit to him personally. I don't give a fuck that he likes a preference behind closed doors. How do you know that affects his views of sports? You don't know that. First of all, you don't even know why he might have that view of premium milk or certain type of women. First off, and another thing, it's his fucking wife. What do you think he's supposed to say? He's supposed to love his wife. He's supposed to praise his wife, no matter what color. Whatever he goes home with is none of your fucking business, bro. You don't speak. You're not the representative for everything that's the culture. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to say this shit. Angel Reese ain't the most innocent individual. This is the same individual that puts her ass on the media, on the internet, and then gets mad when she is sexually objectified. Again, shit that doesn't have to do with basketball. Is Angel Reese the best at her position? Fuck no. So again,
she's very likable. I think she's awesome. I like what she brings. I think she kind of is like the Joker to Caitlin Clark's Batman kind of thing. I think she plays a good villain.
It's one thing,
but they're trying to build her into it. They want to build her into a hero, but she's just not. When you look at those two, and I don't watch a heck of a lot of women's basketball, but it is very exciting to watch. And I've watched a little bit here and there. Caitlin Clark is fundamentally sound at what she does. Angel Reese isn't, but she's good at what she does. She's a very
gifted. She's gifted.
She's gifted, but she's not in the same. She's not in the same category.
No, and it has nothing to do with race. It's the mindset. So anybody from any race can be an asshole or a dickhead. You want to know how we know, ladies and gentlemen? Everybody from every race cannot stand Aaron Rodgers. Why? Because he's a dickhead. We've all said he's a jackass. We all see what we're saying about Brett Favre and how he is as a person. But again, this was not the time to do that and to act like that the race was involved in this, because it was not. Ryan, you brought that man's wife into this situation. How dare you? You went below the belt. Why are you even mentioning her? First things first. First thing, Robert Griffin's wife is not even a basketball player. So what if she fucking sat back and clapped? Because you know why she was clapping about? It's the mindset. Angel Reese wants to worry about being a brand before even being a brand of what got her there in the first fucking place. Now, for people out there, because I know some people, I'm going to give you a great comparison, ladies and gentlemen. And Slick and I have always talked about this. Mike Evans and Odell Beckham. Odell was on a bigger marketable team. He made that one catch. And because of the media, mind you, hyping him, overinflating his talent, now all of a sudden he was a fucking elite guy. But it goes even further. Odell wanted to be a brand. Odell thought he was bigger than the game itself. Mike Evans on a bad team, mind you, he still had to outbeat a guy in Vincent Jackson, RIP. So he still earned his spot. He worked his ass off, and he had no Eli Manning caliber quarterback throwing him the rock. But what did Mike Evans do? He stayed hungry. He stayed humble. Mike Evans will talk his shit now and then, but he doesn't want to be a brand. He keeps his head down and he focuses. Now, let's fast forward to today. Odell ain't even in the fucking league anymore. Mike Evans is still cooking, and he's going to the Hall of Fame. Odell burnt out. This is what happens, people, and I'm talking to my people for a second. Being an asshole is not the same of being confident. First things first, if you're going to be that kind of asshole, you better be able to handle the praise and the criticism. The problem, Slick, is some people think that they're better than what they are. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to be a prime, Ali, Jordan, or Iverson. But you
know hey, I want to be the next fucking Coach Bowles, or the next fucking let's go. The greatest DB coach of all time is probably Nick Saban.
Right.
But I'm not Nick Saban.
You're not right. And you're and people out there, those people that I mentioned, those are legendary generational people. They were cocky, but they had the right to be. A prime, he can be cocky because he was so fucking ahead of everybody. He could do that. You regular people, like the Odells, the Angel Reeses, you're not fucking there yet. It's going to take time. But meanwhile, your Caitlin Clarks, your Mike Evans, they're working on their craft. Both still have gifts, but they understand you have to have a combination of both. So this is the whole point, ladies and gentlemen. This is it. But again, Slick, I'm talking about on a football level, Ryan, unless Robert said some shit that's illegal or that's a crime, you keep the locker room talk to your fucking self. I get maybe he said certain shit behind the doors, but Ryan Clark, I'm going to ask you this. Do you think everything that you said when the cameras are off was innocent and perfect? I think the fuck not. So you think when you went outside, when you was in DC, when you was in Louisiana, when you was in Pittsburgh, I assure you, you did some foul shit behind the doors. I ain't saying it necessarily illegal, but you weren't no saint. So mind your fucking business. Don't destroy the brotherhood and the when it comes to the secrecy of the sacred moment of the locker room. Leave that shit there. If you got something against Robert, you should talk to him your fucking self. Speak on it, or just have the balls to say, you know what? I got something against Robert, because in my opinion, Slick, Ryan was being a bully. I bet you wouldn't do that shit to Marshawn Lynch. I bet you wouldn't call somebody else like that out.
Shannon Sharp.
I bet you wouldn't do that.
Shannon Sharp.
Shannon Sharp. Now you
wouldn't say to Shannon Sharp, but Shannon Sharp like the same kind of woman.
Exactly. And
he won't say to Shannon Sharp, but he was like, look, I just want to add my 2 cents worth to this.
Go ahead.
And you'll like this, because you'll be like, I don't know if you've already thought about this, but I might make your eyebrows pop up a second. I think Ryan Clark has just got his next guest for his next show, and it's going to be he's done this before. He has a habit of creating a Twitter war or a social media blow up. He did it with Andrew Schultz. You remember Andrew Schultz, the comedian?
I do.
He said some shit about him because Andrew Schultz made a joke about black women, and he was like, your joke doesn't resonate, like that you're upset black women with this. And he was like, it was a joke, dude. Like it was just a joke. It was like, and he's like, yeah, but do you understand how hurtful that could be? And It's like, but if we keep making jokes, if we make jokes just completely clean, then you can't go make homosexual jokes. You can't make jokes about women. You can't make jokes about race. You can't make jokes about this. And in the end, and I will say, the great Ricky Gervais, I don't know if you know who he is, because I know he has broken into America.
Yeah.
Very famous comedian, English guy. If you're offended by a joke, it doesn't make you right. It just means you're offended. That's it. You're not right. You've not on a holy crusade. You're not dying on a cross. You're just offended. That's all it is. And someone else is sat there going, fuck, that's fucking funny.
That's
You keep
right.
doing that.
That's right. You being
and
mad.
He's using this to bring RG Free on his show, so everyone will listen to it, because everyone wants to hear them two go at it and lock horns, just like they did with Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz said what he said, and within a few months, Guess who was the next guest on the pivot? Andrew Schultz. So they could address it. Guaranteeing you right now, RG3 is going to be on the pivot. It's good for his brand. It's good for Clark's brand. And they'll sit there and they'll discuss all the idiosyncrasies that go between it. But I will say this. You are 100% right. Your marriage to who you're like, it's clearly obvious that he doesn't have conversations with black women. But he's talking about how he perceives a player on the basketball court seems to have a problem with another one. And it stemmed through college. It stemmed through college when she did that in the whole ring thing in front of Caitlin Clark's face. Caitlin Clark didn't rise to it. And then every time they played each other, there's been instances where they've got entangled with each other and kind of gone a bit of back and forth. And Caitlin Clark is very much your cliche, head down, hardworking, tries not to let all the noise go in there. Whereas, Angel Reese is a bit more brash, a bit more open, a bit more wears her emotions on her sleeve, which is fine. We like that too.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean she doesn't dislike her or hate. I think the word was used. You can see she kind of hates her a bit. Yeah, she's probably not too pleased that she gets the limelight so much. Because Caitlin Clark has had a massive the limelight's on her like massively because she was a rookie. She was Rookie of the Year and she was in the MVP voting. And that person's always going to get that shine. She was the first overall pick. All I remember reading last year was how teams did their best to bully and bloody her up or like really make a welcome to the league kind of thing. And she just kept on playing and she kept on playing, no complaining. She did her thing. And I think that irks her a little bit. And that's fine. It doesn't, a rival, there was some great rivalries. You had Magic and Bird. That could be a Magic and Bird moment. That's fine. But to turn around and say someone doesn't have the credentials to talk about someone because his wife is white is ridiculous.
It's ridiculous, but more so, again, it doesn't have shit to do with the game of basketball and the sport. You don't know what you're talking about. And again, that's why I'm like, Ryan, you don't know what you're talking about. And when it comes to the Reese, I'll fucking say it for you. Because I don't want you to get any controversy, but I'm going to say it. You can't be this. Your actions, your mouth has to match your actions. I've seen Angel Reese miss fucking layups so many times that it's ridiculous. And I'm sitting back like, but you want to have this bravado like you are this superstar. Meanwhile, off the camera, you clapping your
Didn't she get something like four rebounds and in the same layup, and then she got the 2 points with it too. Yeah, so she ended up walking away with three rebounds and 2 points.
But I'm telling you, you can't talk shit and then your output doesn't replicate what you're saying. That is where in society we gotta stop this. You can be boastful, you can be brash, you can talk your shit. It just has to replicate in your profession. Ladies and gentlemen, history note. Do you think Ali would have been as great as he would have been revered if when he talked shit, he was getting knocked out 90% of the time? No, Ali was great because when he predicted shit, it happened. His words matched his mouth. It matched his energy. But Reese is not that individual. She's not the best at what she does. Not yet. So at the same time, that's all Robert is saying. He's talking about the rivalry. He didn't say, well, Angel Reese hates Caitlin because she's white. No, he said he hates that she's getting that shine. That's all.
Yeah, and she is getting that shine. She is right now. She's the face of the WNBA, right?
Right.
Her, Asia Wilson, and a few other people. And I think a lot of people have realized, yeah, she's white, and she's one of the when white players get a bit of a. They're like bigger in the sports industry. Who's one of the bigger consumers of sports? White people.
Yes, and I know where they're going.
Everyone's got their hero, right? So that, like, little black girls are looking up at Angel Reese and going, "I want to be her." Little white girls are looking at, and it crisscrosses too, because that's what we want. What's really what we want is everyone to go, "Well, I like her," and it doesn't matter about their skin color. But it's easier to identify with somebody via skin color, right?
Yes, but also we also want to teach, and I've always told this: damn the color. Let's look at the character and mindset. We just said it.
Damn straight.
You
But
have to.
I'm talking about like the little kid, because little
Oh
kids
no,
can't
I
judge
get it.
character.
And I am on it, and that's why I want to teach mindsets and mentality first before the race. Yes, you can identify because that's your group, but I want people to go, yes, this person is your person. However, if they don't represent something positive, I don't want you to follow that, because it's too many times, Slick, and all of sports. You can't, it's very rare to be the dickhead and the asshole and succeed forever. Some do, but that's an anomaly. For the most part,
Mike Tyson was the ultimate person at doing that, right? He humbled himself later in life, but he was very brash, very nasty with it to a degree.
Right.
But he was so fucking good, no one could fucking argue it. It wasn't until Lennox Lewis knocked his ass out.
Exactly. And well, Buster Douglas, and that was due to the fact that Tyson didn't, what, ladies and gentlemen, he didn't prepare himself. He was out doing crazy shit, not allowing his body and his mind to be.
He got away with it before. He probably did it a couple of times and got away with it, and thought, I can keep doing this because I'm that good. And then your body slows down, you don't become as good, and what have you, and then you compound that with like a crazy lifestyle. Somebody who's been preparing for you, man, someone will catch you off guard eventually.
That has the edge, because when Buster fought him, Buster lost his mom. That, I think, literally like a few days before. So mind you, you're facing a guy who wants what you have, and he is fighting for more than himself. You're not usually gonna beat that type of individual who has something extra to prove by just going, well, I'm gonna be lazy. That's what I want to get everybody to understand. This wasn't about a race thing, but if we want to look, the content of your character fucking matters, because it's going to reflect on what you're going to do for the organization. Ladies and gentlemen, when you go out and apply for a job, don't you have to be a professional individual? You can't be a loaf and act stupid and say this, well, I'm going to do this way, because you're not going to get a fucking job. So imagine being a professional, a part of a multi-billion-dollar company, and it is a business. Your character is going to have to be something that is going to be better for the team, because if not, they don't want to invest, because nobody is trying to lose money. At the end of the day, this is a business. This is a business across the board. That's all it is. Yes, are there racial narratives in sports? Absolutely. But this was not one of them. We cannot always go to that, because that's bullshit. We have to take what it is. Robert Griffin was talking about basketball. He was talking about the basketball hatred and rivalry. If he would have said, well, she hate her because she's white, that's where we would have been like, Robert, you're wrong. But he didn't. He didn't say that. He's talking about from a basketball perspective, from competitive. Mike Evans and Lattimore are a prime example. When they get on the fucking field, it's war. For the most part, I think they don't. It's not that they hate each other as a person. They just hate each other when them lights come on the field, because they're competitive warriors. That's what it's about. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen, you're fucking speculating. Now, because again, Slick, I'm that person. If we go down the rabbit hole, are you sure you want to find out exactly off the field shit that your idols, ladies and gentlemen, do? Because then you're not going to be, you forget they are human just like everybody else. They're just multi-millionaires. And if anything, there's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes that you and I will never probably know about until they tell you.
How many people do you think idolize people like Aaron Hernandez? You know what I'm saying? And the list is long and hard. Every time you hear like the Raiders, all the draft picks that they had that one year that all went to fucking jail, they had fans. They had young kids who adored them and probably wanted to be like them. Can you imagine finding out that you're an early teenager, so you're like at 13, 14, and you find out the guy that you've been, followed his career from college all the way to the pros, and then they do something stupid, like get jailed for like something crazy.
And not realize
Tyreek Hill, he was done for hitting his son with a switch.
Well, more than that, too, if you want to talk about stand-up people, we already know he can't pull out. So we know
Mhm.
that man, and again, none of these people, none of these women are his wives. We don't even know if they're in the committed relationships. But again, that's why we try to tell people. I tell people this all the time. Leave that personal shit off the field. You don't know these people. Some of the nicest athletes that you see on TV are probably the biggest dickheads off the field. Meanwhile, people thought Ndamukong Suh was an asshole. Then when they seen him off the cameras, they was like, "Oh my god, he's a nice individual." Yes,
Smart
he's
guy. He's
smart
into
individual.
investing in business, and everyone's like, I never thought that from him. And it's like, yeah, what you're seeing is a guy who's playing with a lot of anger to summon up to play on Sunday. You know,
That's
it,
right.
when you're playing the position of a pass rusher or on defensive line, you've got to dig deep and find something. No one's, but to be honest, it was kind of impressive how dominant Gerald McCoy was for such a jolly fellow.
Right. And
Right.
mind you, what he didn't
And
have
that's what pissed people
around
off
him.
about it, because people
Yeah.
would sit there and go, well, I want him to be like Ndamukong Suh and want to tear a motherfucker's head off. But he would,
Mhm.
if he made a mistake, he'd apologize. Like, we all remember the Ben Roethlisberger hit where he hit him late, and he
Woo!
knew he hit him late. He knew he hit him late, and he apologized, like,
Yes.
my bad, or what have you, because and that's fine. But there was nothing wrong. There was no, I I didn't care about the optics of it because it didn't make no difference. But everyone's like, "Oh, that means he's soft." I'm like, "No, he just knew that he probably was. He hit him. He knew he hit him late, so he was just like holding his hand up, like I fucked up."
And some people don't realize that there are a lot of guys in this league that understand the value of your health. Then they
Imagine if that
know that,
tore his fucking ACL.
right, and you don't want that for anybody. People have livelihoods, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
people like not thinking about it the way me and you do will sit there and go, "Well, it's the game of football, so meh." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right," but at the same time, you know that a hit like that could derail your career. A hit like that could derail your season. A hit like that could cost you a contract. So you never want to take a cheap shot, and that's why he apologized as he did it. But people were like, "No." But I've seen players who've been on. I remember our year of Hard Knocks, we had a guy called Riley Bullock. He was a linebacker, and he talked really aggressive, like, "I'm going to kill everyone." Rah, rah, rah. He lasted on the roster 10 fucking minutes. He was all talk. Talk means nothing. It's production. Some gut players can tap into that primalness where they talk the shit and it makes them like play harder, it makes them play better, it makes them play more aggressive, like a Ndamukong Suh. But
Right.
like I said, Jerry McCoy, the fact that he played so fucking jolly just seemed insane when you think
Right.
about it.
And Levante David, a quiet storm. He
Yeah,
doesn't have to boast. But
he
again,
literally Coach Bowles in Better Nick.
yes. And why do you think Slick he has an illustrious career? Because one, he focuses on the game. The Devin Whites of the world, like, guys, again, fucking mindset. When you have people in your ears and then you believe your own hype and you don't produce, we all wouldn't have gave a shit if Devin White talked shit the way he did, but he produced like he did in 2020, no one would bat an eye. We'd be like, cool, but it wasn't adding up. As other people say, Slick, the math ain't mathing. So at this point, you're just a lot of fucking talking. You're a liability, and you're fucking up the locker room. As a coach, Slick and I, if anybody fucks up my locker room, I don't care what people think of you. You have to get the fuck out because you're not going to poison your fellow teammates, and you're not going to poison me with this bullshit. And I don't have time, Slick. I'm that coach where, all right, man, look, after we have a sit down, if I see you still on the bullshit, pack your shit and go. I don't need you. Tyreek Hill, prime example with the Chiefs. He left. He thought they were going to immediately just be a dumpster fire. They won a Super Bowl without him. And mind you, Tyreek Hill shows you necessarily, let's be real, that he doesn't make quarterbacks make him. I don't want to hear, oh, well, Tua was gone, guys. That's why he didn't get 1,000 yards.
He knew, and I want to say this to people. Everyone was like, "Oh, Tua." Okay, let me set the record straight on Tua. He knew what he was signing into. He knew that he was signing into a quarterback, signing on for a team that had a quarterback that could get knocked out any fucking minute and his season's done. His career potentially could be done. He knew that going into it. He saw dollar signs. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. Yeah, I think that the team did help, like knowing that there was a capable quarterback.
Yep.
Good pieces, solid defense, good coach, maybe in his opinion, right? So he's like, okay, I'm going to go there. It's not like he went to a dumpster fire and went for. It's not like he went Cleveland Browns. What you paying? And they went, we'll just give you whatever you want. Just turn up, right? He didn't do that. He was a bit more strategic with it and picked up a team that could potentially win the AFC East. That was not on the ball. That was not impossible thinking. Oh, if they add me, I might be given the jolt that makes them go past the Bills. There's no harm. There's no shame in thinking that. But he knew what he was getting into. He knew he was getting into a quarterback that potentially might not last an entire season. So you can't pout about it when he doesn't.
You can't pout about it. And again, you got the fucking bag that you was bitching about. And then when people held you to those expectations, see, he thought that the year before when he did it, okay, I don't have to do anything else. I shut people up. Us football people like, no, if you didn't win a Super Bowl, it didn't mean shit, to be quite honest. You think, put it this way. This is why we love Evans. Evans could have an 1,800 yard, 18 touchdown season, Slick. If he gets booted the first round of the playoffs, you know what his mindset is? We didn't do shit. We failed. I failed. I didn't live up to it. That's a Mike Evans caliber guy. Mike Evans would rather go into the playoffs with 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, but he wins a Super Bowl. Because then he'll go, hey, I did my part in the regular season to get us to where the fuck we needed to go, and then I took over. That is what good players do. Levante is the same. You guys, again, all that shit goes out the window when you fuck up. Ladies and gentlemen, Micah Parsons, when you do shit outside, like Micah, you're not even a good podcaster. I'm far better than you. Me and Slick are far better. You only got the audience you have is because you're
a Dallas Cowboy and a professional football player.
If you didn't play for that, you'd be a goofy ass buff dude talking shit. You'd be like me. Cause look here, Micah. I got you, bro. And mind you, I ain't got a nutritionist. I ain't got no trainer. I'm doing this shit on raw power and my time. So fuck you when it comes to that. I dare you to say something. People like that. But back to the Ryan Clark situation, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you, Slick. I think what he did was bullying, because he was in a way trying to get at Robert by saying, well, you don't like yourself because you down with all your women is white and you talk about milk and shit. Even if he does, what the fuck does that have to do with your life? Worry about your wife. Worry about your.
He's built a career in kind of doing that to a degree. What was it? He tried to say, wasn't him on record saying that if Shador falls in the draft, that it's due to his skin color? Who went first overall?
Exactly.
Who went first overall? A black man.
Cam Ward, a black man, and exactly, stop it. He's not that much better. Well, first of all, Slick and I already told you this draft wasn't generational players. Again, you motherfuckers.
It's a fucking crapshoot as it is. Yep. A lot of people like Shador because for the culture, he is for the culture, and let's face it, the Pivot podcast is for the culture. That's all it's about. Right, and there's nothing wrong, because I listen to the Pivot podcast all the time. A huge Freddie T fan,
of course. That's Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, that guy is. I've met him twice.
But the thing is, when it comes to the culture, Slick, sometimes, and this is where I will speak on this.
Blinded.
There's ignorance among the shit, because some of people in the culture, they think that being a dickhead means you are confident and people want to take something away. That's not true. First things first. This is football. One person. This ain't like basketball. The problem, I think, like people are trying to make football players like basketball. No, in basketball, one person can take over a game. In football, you need the whole shit to work. And we've seen
the quarterback's probably the only player in the entire team that can really make that much more of a difference, right? And that's one position
Yeah, that's one
Yeah.
position, and even with that, you
Yeah,
still got
for
to
sure.
have.
Well, but when if
Oh
someone's
yeah,
going to take over a game, it's going to be occasionally a running back. It's
yep.
occasionally going to be and most of the time it's going to be it could be occasionally a wide receiver, and it's most of the time going to be a quarterback.
And I like that we're bringing this up because when I tell people was Shador generational in college, no. Well, that's not fair. It really is because when he played good teams, you know what was happening? They got them cheeks clapped. It's like,
Well,
and
I think a lot of people defend that by saying that he had a bad offensive line, and that's fine. Look, I think Shador's. I'm hoping Shador's going to be great. I really like Shador. I really do.
yep,
Generally, I really hope he has
I
some
do
success.
too.
I'm kind of gutted that he's on the Browns. I think there are better teams out there than the fucking Browns.
Well, out of all the divisions, the dude and I said AFC North would be the worst because they're physical. And we haven't seen Shador take these kind of hits. So it's going to make things a lot interesting. And we're going to see if he can.
I thought Steelers was set up for him, though.
Yeah, it's very high. And also,
Can
can
you
he get
imagine if
that?
they got Aaron Rodgers and they have him sat behind Aaron Rodgers just to sit and absorb? Not because Aaron's not going to teach, but you just being around the guy, you're going to learn a lot of shit. Then being around a coach of that caliber, who's very similar to his father in a lot of ways,
Slick, tell
it
him,
would have
coach.
been it's the
Tell him, coach.
perfect fucking setup.
Get him, coach. Coach, this is what we be trying to. This is why Slick and I we work together because he knows his shit just like me. I said this before, Slick. I said a lot of great quarterbacks learned under somebody else. Give me an example, AJ. Steve Young learned under Joe Montana. You know what, Slick? People forget that Steve Young was drafted by the Bucs.
Technically, my friend, Tom Brady learned under a quarterback as well.
Yeah, Drew Bledsoe. We know that. I tell people that. Drew Bledsoe.
It's only because he had dominance more than the teacher that everyone assumes that he just kind of taught himself. I was like, nope, no, he picked up shit from Drew, 100%.
And ladies and gentlemen, Drew
Patrick
Bledsoe.
Mahomes, who did he learn under?
Who?
Alex Smith.
Oh,
Mahomes.
Mahomes. And see, ladies and gentlemen,
how many guys have had success in this league if they have a good fucking? You can do a lineage of fucking Green Bay.
Yep.
Love got Roger. Roger got Favre.
Exactly. Ladies
Not rocket science, guys. You hang around a fucking dude, you tend to pick up some shit.
Right. You don't just come out the fucking gate for the most part. Stop. The Jaden Daniels situation, people say, you want to know a secret, ladies and gentlemen? It wasn't just Jaden Daniels. It was the coaching staff as well. It was Kingsbury. It was Quinn hiring an expert to help him.
Potentially, and I don't want to say this, it might have been a little bit of Marcus Mariota as well, because they got that veteran in the building. Not everyone has to be a super stud. Some people have just been on a few teams. Ryan Fitzpatrick probably would be a fantastic teammate to have.
That's right. But Slick, a lot of people don't understand. This is why people like me and you have to explain. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to football, that's not how football works for the most part. There's not a lot of Einsteins in this motherfucker that teach themselves. They have to learn, because you want to know why? When there are quarterbacks that try to teach themselves, they usually fail because they never adapt to the speed of the game. They don't know how to read routes. And a lot of times when they're trying to do it themselves, they get fucked up out here. Again, most of these quarterbacks, most of these quarterbacks are not these bulky built guys like running backs. They are lanky, tall motherfuckers. So if they get hit the right way just once, they're done. Just like Robert Griffin III, when he was running, what happened, Washington fans? That went out because most running quarterbacks, especially during the physical era, they didn't last long because you got to develop. You're not going to be able to, look, prime example, Baker, when he probably gets to 33, 34, he's going to most likely start going, yeah, I can't run like that anymore, fellas, because I'll get fucked up out here. Your body doesn't understand that. But this is what we are trying to say at the end of the day, because we ain't going to give them no more energy. But this ain't about race when it comes to Reese and Caitlin. This is about mindsets. This is about who wants it more. I'm gonna give you the two type of personalities. I'm not bringing no colors into it. You can guess it yourself. And this ain't about racism, because both races could do this shit. But you got one player, quiet, understands that I don't really have the personality to do certain things. So I'm gonna work on my fucking craft, on what got me here, so I can get better. Then you got one. I'm not, look again, IG model. Got mad when she was sexually objectified. Meanwhile, got your ass poking out. Meanwhile, you're doing things off season and you're going on podcasts talking about other crazy shit. But then when you get to the league and your play isn't matching your arrogance and confidence. So I'm gonna leave that with y'all. Then when it comes to Ryan and Robert, Ryan, keep people's family out of this. Learn to keep your mouth shut. Don't talk about shit that happened among the locker room unless you want to address it to that individual first. If you got something to say, if you got a problem with Robert, then you need to, like Slick said, if you want to make money off it, just do a podcast. But you need to keep people's wives out of your mouth. I would never talk about Slick's lovely wife. I would never talk about his family. I would never talk about dude or anybody, because everybody's not the same. I'll tell you this right now, Ryan, NFL or not, you say something, if I'm married, about my wife, we got a problem. Remember, Ryan, I hope you don't realize nobody, again, you might have thrown your body on the players on the field, but people can throw them hands too. And again, say some shit like that to Marshawn or Shannon in their faces. We're not talking about AB because somebody brought him. AB's a fucking clown too. AB's a clown too.
But they wouldn't go after him though. I still don't think
they wouldn't go after him. So again, Ryan, at the end of the day, just keep your mouth shut about family. Stick to sports. Everybody else in the fucking world, let's worry about the content of what people, of their craft and their profession, in their whatever they do. You don't know these people as fucking people. You don't. And until you do otherwise, and you've had years of knowing them, it's none of your business. Like I said, as long as they ain't doing shit illegal, you stop.
What I never got was the context in how he said it. So he was like, Robert Griffin's not around women who could get him to understand the struggles of a black woman. I was like, I'm sure he has a mom, sure he has sisters, sure he has cousins, I'm sure he has family and friends that are female, that are black, that can understand the struggle. And I'm just speculating.
And I get it, but here's another thing. How do we know that Robert doesn't talk to his women and say, hey, baby, I'm going to say certain things here. Please do not tweet or say anything of that nature, because you are of a different culture, and I don't want people to take it the wrong way. So you let me handle this. I don't care what they say about me, because that's within my culture. I'll handle it. You don't say anything. And what if she says, I got you? And again, that's why I'm Slick. I'm a person where let's not go down rabbit holes, because Slick, the scary thing is, motherfuckers, when you put yourself at a self-righteous level, there's always somebody out there that knows your sins and that'll be quick to tear you down. There's a guy right now, allegedly a football teammate of Ryan Clark, says that he had a child with a white woman. Now, what is that? Now, the way that Ryan professed his pro-blackness today, if that were to be true, people would be looking stupid. Well, wait a minute. Well, damn, I thought you was all about this, but now you want to, again, everybody has their preferences. No matter what they like, it's not your business. It's not your business. Now, all that other shit, well, I don't like what he says, that's a different discussion for a different time. I get that. If you want to go into that with him, like you said, let's go to the pivot about this. But
you turn around and say to him, Robert, what is it why do you think she hates her? Why do you think she hates Caitlin Clark? Well, I don't really understand it. And then he will go, well, who's had the most media attention in the WNBA of all the rookies? Caitlin Clark. Who's was on the MVP voting? Caitlin Clark. Who won Rookie of the Year? Caitlin Clark. Who is poised now to be one of the top 5 favorites to be the MVP of the league?
Caitlin
Caitlin
Clark.
Clark. Who is every media person talking about how they've reset the market for the WNBA and that everyone's going to see her sold out when anyone goes to watch the Fever, it's sold out. Caitlin Clark. Who's saying that she gets standing ovations in other teams' arenas when she's introduced? It's Caitlin Clark. So maybe, just maybe, she's hearing all this noise going, well, what about fucking me? Which she has been on record as saying, like, it's not just, she's even said it's not just Caitlin Clark, it's me too. And I think to a degree that she does bring something, because I've always said you need a good villain. You need that, right? You get that rivalry, that bird and magic and stuff. Opposite sides of the coin. It could be that. The problem is, I think Caitlin Clark is just fundamentally better than her at basketball right now,
and that's okay. That's what we're saying. The whole point of this, if Angel wants to prove her wrong, do it on the court. You just
said her ass on the court.
You just said Magic and Bird. That's a beautiful thing. You know why? Because both of them went at each other. They competed, and each of them got championships between each other. That's what made it fun. You think that's why, guys, we want people to understand.
They became best friends in the end.
They became good friends because, again, for the love of what? The game. Of course, outside influences talked about race. We are aware of that, but it is up to us where we say.
But it should be people who are in that locker room world. Do you remember back in those days? It was probably more buttoned up white people that had never been in a basketball locker room in their lives, or were in high school, right?
Right.
And then they got into college. They were like a bench person in college, and they got their media degree while they're in college, and then they go into the world of sports, local radio, climb the ladder that way. So these people would talk about that because they wouldn't know.
Exactly. Isn't it the same thing, Slick, that you were saying how sometimes certain people in the media don't always need to be in the locker room right after a game. It ain't got shit to do with that. It's got the sanctity of the locker room. Some shit ain't meant to be for everybody, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what we want you to understand. Certain shit, yes, you have to. There's a time and a place for everything. Certain things, you can't always jump to that conclusion. Let's use the game of sports first. Until you hear actual evidence, just like in court, you can't go in court saying, I think I heard something. The courts are going to say, no, what did you hear? And if you say anything that's not credible, you will be dismissed. That's what we got to think of. Until you hear damning, overwhelming evidence that supports it, at that point, you're speculating. Just like we're speculating, I'm speculating with the Bucs winning it all this year. I can't say completely that Walker and Roberts and Ibuka and them are going to be the studs that I want them to be. I'm speculating at this point. But you know what? I don't give a fuck because I'm speculating on a football level. That's it. And until I'm proven otherwise, I could be flat wrong. They could be ass and I can look stupid. And if they are, I will wear my red nose and makeup proudly because I'm going to go, shit, that didn't go that way. Woohoo! So let's get through that shit. We did our thing. We want to talk to Coach Slick. Coach Slick, I'm going to give you some questions because I got some already. First things first, let the world know who your team is.
Okay, so I'm a defensive backs coach for the Sandwell Steelers. The Sandwell Steelers are a team that's based in what we would call in the UK the West Midlands. It's right jam-packed in the middle of the UK. They don't have an accent like mine. Mine's way more revered and much more well-spoken. They have what's called a yam-yam accent, and I can't do it to save my life because it does not roll off my tongue. It's considered one of the most ugliest accents in the UK, so there you go. It's known for its industrial area, so steelworks and stuff like that, hence why the Steelers was used. It wasn't the fact that we just borrowed, oh, Steelers sounds cool, we'll borrow that. No, it was more the case of like the area itself, which is known as the Black Country. And it was known as the Black Country because that's where all the industry was. And the air around it was always black. Because of all the like the coal and stuff like that. It was always given the impression, so it was nicknamed the Black Country.
Okay, Sandwell Steelers. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Check out the Sandwell Steelers. Now, what is your biggest philosophy when it comes to coaching? I'm very curious because I want people to know this.
So I always want players to be players. I want them to be them. Um, my goal is to try and make them become the best version of themselves. That's usually like looking at their stances, because obviously when you get raw rookies, they don't know anything from Adam, right? They don't even know their ass to their butthole at that point in time. So you give them layers, and I always say to them, like, if this stance isn't for you, try different things with it. Try and work with what works. Like when you're in a cornerback stance in that traditional, you always teach them to have a staggered foot. So I always say to them, how much you want, because they'll always come to me and go, how wide do I need to be? How? And I was like, right, start from underneath your armpits and work your way out. It's going to be somewhere in there, and that's going to be or maybe a little bit more inside. And go with what feels comfortable, because when you got a comfortable athlete, they'll learn quicker and they'll feel more comfortable in what they are. If their stance is completely fucking crazy, then you might have to coach them out of it. But I've never really gone into anything like that before. Then you're looking at the staggered stance. How far should the front leg be in front of the other one? I always say start with your toe breaking your heel. So your toe would be here and your heel would be there, and then just work with it and find what works for me. Like me, I like it like that, like halfway. But other players prefer even wider, and I should just toy with it and find what works for you. And then we go through the fundamentals of footwork, and then we look at what they like to do, like what they're good at, and then you try and build a. It's harder when you only have a limited amount of time. Like I get 2 hours with my guys,
Okay.
and in indie period, I get maybe 20 minutes max. So realistically, I only get 20 minutes to work on fundamentals and stuff like that. So it's difficult to build so much in. Like if you were like a coach in high school or what have you, you might end up with that 20-minute portion might be 5 times a week, or it might be 3 times a week. So you get a lot more chances to correct stuff. So getting things fundamentally sound is difficult, but you want to work on the fundamentals, and then my coaching philosophy is it's my job to teach you the playbook. My least favorite phrase in football is get your heads in playbook. No. Coaches have got to teach the fucking playbook. So what I try and do is I try and fit all 3 mediums. So everyone learns in 3 different ways. We learn visually, we learn by doing, and we learn by written down. So I will create videos explaining stuff. If I can get cut-ups of people doing it, even better. That's sometimes hard to do because I don't always have everything I need. And then we'll try and replicate it in practice. One of my strong beliefs is if it looks shit slow, it will look shit fast. You just can't see it. So do everything slow and build tempo. Start off slow where we're going foot for foot for foot for foot. Next rep. For foot. And then we're doing it with a bit more pace. Because again, if it looks shit slow, it's definitely shit fast. You just can't see it. So if you make them go fast, you go, I don't know why they're fucked up. You slow it down, you'll see that their footwork is wrong.
Okay.
Make the steps more deliberate.
All right. I want to ask you this. What's your first personal favorite position that you like on defense?
Safety.
Safety. Why? Please break that down. And is it strong or free safety?
I never got to play in a 2 high system, so I've only ever played as a free safety myself. I love the freedom of being able to, especially in the defenses that I've ever worked in and in the defense that I coach now, the safety's kind of the boss. So the safety will dictate what the corners are going to do. We run a 2-read system, so the communication between safety and corner is crucial. So I like the fact that safety's calling out what he sees. There's 2 wide receivers. We got doubles, triple, quads. We got a nub, tight end, pointing it all out and communicating that. What the strength is. That's all done in our system. It's done by the safety. A lot of people would use a middle linebacker, but we find that the safeties have a better field of vision because they're a little bit further back, so they can see more. So I was kind of liking it to, especially if it's single high, If it's single high, it kind of feels like you're dueling with a quarterback because you both kind of got the same kind of depth.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of sat there, well, you're in stance there looking at, and you are dictating, like, you're trying to figure out where the quarterback's going to go or where the run's going to go fit it. So I find it quite a cerebral position.
Okay, so would you, if you had to say, would you rather be a hard-hitting safety or a coverage safety?
I'd love to say I'd be a coverage safety, but I'm not. I've never been as good at coverage as I have been at hitting.
Okay.
You know, there's nothing better than getting that clack on clack pads and putting a guy in the dirt. It just feels great.
I love it. Well, before you we finish this interview, we got the dude who is about to come in here talking his shit. So for everybody else out there, if you get offended, you're just offended. Come on in here, dude, and talk your shit.
Here we go.
What's going on, boys, from the UK and the DMV?
We're good, baby. We're good.
Hey, I'm a little riled up here, so you're going to have to hold my beer. Maybe put your seatbelt on and buckle up, because I'm here to tell you, first of all, hey, Cam Jordan, you thieving motherfucker. Stealing money from the Saints when they can't afford to pay their light bills. And yet somehow you NFL experts out here, and you know who the fuck I'm talking about, Cal Turd, Dan Orlovsky out the back of the end zone. You still got, in some of these polls, the Saints and Falcons finishing better than the Buccaneers. Here's my question to all the douchebags out there, and I'm not holding back tonight. How in the fuck does a team win 4 divisions in a row, does not lose any key free agents, locks in one of the best off-ball linebackers in the league in Levante David to finish his career here, goes out and has, by almost every expert's grading ability, A minus or A plus draft, and you think the Buccaneers are going to suck? What you're doing is you're sitting there with a bottle of fucking Jergens, stroking your fucking manhood, hoping Baker ends up being Johnny Manziel. Newsflash, motherfucker. Baker's been in the league longer than anybody expected him to. Baker has exceeded limitations. Baker Mayfield took the motherfucking Cleveland Browns to the playoffs, bitch.
Yeah, okay? 3 times in his career so far.
Baker Mayfield has come into Tampa. The narrative when you're replacing a great player or coach is you never want to be the guy that replaces the guy. In this case, the guy was Tom Brady. But you never want to be the guy that replaces the great coach or the great player because the expectations are so high, 99% of the times you fail. Baker came in and said, hold my beer and suck me from the back. Continue to win division titles. I know. You guys are winning the worst division. You guys are winning it with 9 or 10 wins. Blah, blah, blah. We want to change the rules so you don't get to be a home game for the playoffs. Motherfucker. Maybe the division is just so fucking competitive that the teams beat each other up. And I'll point this out. Back in 2014, that's a little while ago for you fucksticks, but I'm going to help remind you. The AFC North, the Ravens, the Steelers, the Bengals, and the Browns. The Bengals and the Browns were horrible. The Ravens and the Steelers were elite. And those teams were winning the division with 9 and 10 wins. And the narrative then was, well, you know, it's the black and blue division. Just beating that division and winning it shows you're a team of substance, shows you're a tough team of championship quality caliber, that you're battle fucking tested. Meanwhile, you fast forward to today, And the Buccaneers are doing the same fucking thing in the NFC South. And it's like, wow, it's a weak division. Motherfucker, you're a weak ass analyst. You're a weak ass fucking human being. You just want to hate. You just want to click. You're out here chasing more clicks than RG3 and Ryan fucking Clark, you motherfuckers. And that's a bad fucking look. Okay? But before I go a little farther, I just want to point out that I just flew into town on the $400 million jet that some fucking terrorist organization gave me because I too can be presidential, motherfucker. With all that said, the Buccaneers will repeat as division champions. That will be 5 in a row. There is not one team in the NFC South that has ever won 5 divisions in a row. As Jameis Winston would say, check the sheet, motherfucker. So, with all that said, we got a huge amount of content out on BucsReport.com. Even though this is the dead time of the season, we got 2 of the best show hosts right above me here on the screen, and we're only getting bigger. We've got our affiliations with Creative Loafing, Sports Talk Florida, Yard Barker, Buccaneers, he owns. How many of you outlets out there are affiliated with the biggest Spanish-speaking Buccaneers content providers or creators on the planet? You ain't. We are. And here's the fucked up part. We told you almost a year ago to the day Devin White was not going to make that fucking team with the Eagles, that he would be fucking cut. And not one of y'all covered us because we don't pay Elon Musk for a blue check, so you don't take us seriously. But the fact is, we were right. We've told you over and over again, keep sleeping on the Bucs. They're going to keep stacking fucking division banners in their fucking facility, and they keep doing it. And yet you still, as they say, and yet you persist. You persist in creating content for the sake of creating content. Remember when ESPN used to report the fucking sports instead of talk about why this and that doesn't matter, or talk about, well, that's a win, but a win isn't always a win. What the fuck you mean a win isn't always a win? Motherfucker, you're like, oh, well, stats are stats. Do you realize that a final score, that's a stat? Do you realize a win-loss record is a fucking stat? So what you're saying is a word salad of, I don't feel the need to put in any fucking work to prepare for these hard takes. I'm going to just fucking jerk off on the fucking toilet, and whatever pops in my brain, I'm going to go on TV or on social media and spout it out from the mountaintops. But because I got a blue check or I got a 4-letter network behind me, that means I'm right and you're wrong. But the fact is, we out here fact-checking bitches with fucking stats. When I bring these stats, I break your fucking neck, dude. And that's the fucking problem. You scared of motherfuckers like us. You scared of the outlets that you call fringe media. Do you know why? Because we don't have to answer to Procter & Gamble. We don't have to answer to Ford or Chevy or the corporate fucking elites. We can say what the fuck we have to say. We back it up with stats. And if you don't like it, again, the line to suck me from the back starts behind me. Okay? And if you got a problem with anything I say, Orlovsky, Camellia Jordan, any of you fucking blue check chuckle fucks, our DMs are always fucking open. The email for the fucking entire platform is bucksreport2017@gmail.com. Come get some. My phone number is 863-709-5990. If you got something to say, I'll send a fucking bus ticket and you can come fucking say it. Okay? Other than that, gentlemen, how are you doing tonight?
We're good, brother. We're good.
We interviewing Coach Slick, and you caught us right in the middle of it. Talking
Well, first
about
of all,
what he does as a coach.
Huge shout out to the Sandwell Steelers. And by default, Slick and all of his coaching staff. And let's not overlook what I think is one of the most important parts of a football team. The players. Coaches are only good if the players are accepting the message. And these players who don't have peewee football under their belts like we do here in the States, who don't have a long-standing pedigree of playing football out in the street like we used to back in the day. These kids are learning a new sport, and they're excelling at it, and they're being coached, and they're actually coachable players. Do you hear that, Shadur? Do you fucking hear that? They don't got their daddy out there trying to run fucking game on everybody and end up getting you fall into the 5th fucking round, which, by the way, I also predicted. They don't have Shiloh out here who could quite possibly could be the most ferocious in the box safety that was in this draft, and have him go undrafted because you're his agent, Dion, which I also predicted would happen. But keep ignoring. That's cool, because when you ignore us, you only make us look smarter, because people see, people understand. You're ignoring facts because it doesn't fit your narrative. Here at Bucs Report, our narrative is the Tampa Bay motherfucking Buccaneers. So anything to do with that, we down to talk. Hey, Falcons podcast and content creators, come get some. We brought one on about a year and a half ago when they were talking all that smack. And when they said, we got Raw, we going to the game, we going to win the bowl, we got Kirk Cousins, and we had them on this show.
Yep.
And said, well, I hope you come back next year when the season's over and we can talk about this. And what did I get from them? Ghost, 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 ghost. Why? Because we were right and they were wrong. Okay, here's the thing. You want to be a man, you want to be a real man. Real men admit errors and mistakes and do what they can to rectify it. Bitch ass beta males say, no, fake news, you're wrong, or they just ignore you. You can ignore me all you want. You can ignore us all you want. But like Anonymous, we are inevitable.
Boom.
Okay? I will pull up. I myself have and will pull up to put out disrespect. That said, AJ Turnip be killing it on TikTok. Hey, all you guys on TikTok, I don't know if you're going to hear this, but AJ is going to bring it up on the next time you guys go live. At what point does beating your head against the wall become just beating your head against the wall? Okay? I understand everybody's got passion, and you're going to pull for your team. You're going to pull for your hometown squad. But reality is reality. The Atlanta Falcons might have done this, might have done that. They defense is straight booty juice. The Atlanta Falcons have 17 fucking quarterbacks, and half of them don't want to play. The Carolina Panthers have our former offensive coordinator who, if I remember correctly, let me check my notes here. Oh, when he signed as their head coach, that was going to be a quick turnaround. They were going to be contenders. Where the fuck did the Panthers finish last year? Was it last?
I think
was
it?
Okay.
The Taints came last. The Taints came last.
More importantly, where the fuck did the Panthers pick? Okay, so it turns out, Dave Canales, when you don't got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and an elite defense pushing from the back, you just another motherfucker from Seattle. Okay, right. And I'll put it to you this way. If you really aspired to be a head coach and you wanted to be successful, Mr. Dave Canales, you wouldn't have taken the Carolina job. You would have known by being in the building in Seattle for all those years, 10 plus years, that Pete was on his way out, and that would be the job that you wanted to go after. But you couldn't. You had to go and grab the cash because it's all about chasing the clout. It's all about the likes, the clicks, the notifications, the engagement. Let me tell you right now, engagements are for marriages.
Boom.
You want to get on Twitter, you want to get on MySpace, on fucking Threads, on Facebook, and spout off bullshit, realize your content is surrounded by nothing but propaganda and straight up lies. So if I scroll through and see your content, above it and below it is bullshit. Do you know what that makes your content? Bullshit. Just like you. Just like Colin Coward. Just like Dan Orlovsky. Just like Cam Jordan. Cam Jordan, dude, you're a big boy. I know you struggle to keep the weight off. How the fuck do you sleep at night endorsing Little Caesars pizza? Motherfucker, I tried to feed that shit to my dog, and he buried it in the yard.
Yeah, right.
Okay? You play in a stadium next to another stadium called Smoothie King. I don't know if that's some kind of gay reference towards you, Cam, but it kind of feels like it. Okay? So that's his new nickname. Smoothie King, Cam Jordan. Because you're smooth on the internet, but you rough as fuck on the field. Hey, and by the way, why don't you keep running your fucking mouth? The Buccaneers got a whole bulletin board in their locker room that is the Cam Jordan I'm a stupid fuck billboard. You keep running your mouth, you can't keep the team's name out your mouth. But ever since you started talking trash, you ain't been near a Buccaneers quarterback. Nope. You ain't been near a division title. And now you talking shit to players on the Bucs who are sitting there with a fucking ring on their finger, and you got a ring in your fucking bathtub, bro. So Cam, again, you get first spot. I've got it reserved. No cutsies, no backsies. You stand behind me because you got to suck it from the back, bro. You got to take it like a man. I don't give a fuck how much the NFL is pushing or promoting you. They're pushing or promoting you because you're a fucking circus clown. It's not because you're an elite fucking player. I'll point out to you, how many elite players, former and present, have podcasts and do all this dancing around like a fucking jackass for the media? I'll wait. Hold on. That's right. There aren't any. Because they take the second tier guys. They take the washed up guys. You're like, well, you've been here for a while, so let's throw you a bone. Cam, you're a charity, just like your organization.
Yes.
So, with that said, I do appreciate the time and the Vine guys. For the people in the comments section that I may have offended, go fuck yourself. Don't care. For the people on social media, if what I'm saying is offending you, but not the rest of the shit you see on social media, not the shit you see going on around this beautiful fucking country of ours, that's not offending you. What I'm saying offends you. You're the snowflake. You're the fucking beta. And I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to have a motherfucking caramel macchiato. I'm going to eat a gummy, and I'm going to laugh because I know Cam Jordan closes his eyes every night and says, damn, I could have been a champion.
Facts. Shout out to dude. Like I said, that's the dude who
I
ain't
love
afraid to
that.
be rude and crude. So, boom. I want to ask you a couple more questions, though, Slick. Now,
Sure.
What is your dream defensive scheme? Like, what kind of players would you love to have to perfect this defensive scheme that you like? What's your dream? Like, you like, damn, I wish I had these type of players that can make it happen.
I mean, you're never gonna get. I mean, we're always gonna pick NFL kind of guys here, but the scheme will be what I've been used to and what I've been coaching for the last 3 years, which is a 4-2-5, split safeties, 2 corners, 2 middle linebackers, and then an off. It works more for college rules because we play to college rules. I don't know if I'd use it in the NFL. Otherwise, I would play a 3-2-6.
Okay.
So that's 3 down linemen, 2 middle linebackers, 2 nickels, 2 corners, 2 safeties. Now those nickels can be interchanged for pass rushers, for obvious pass rushing situations. That's probably what I would use closer to akin to the NFL. But a 4-2-5 defense to a 3-2-6. I want one safety that is just dynamic in pass that can stick to anyone at any particular time, and then I want a guy who can come down and reach into that box when if needed. That'll be my bandit safety. Nickels, 2 thickles, as I call them, thick nickels. They'll probably be safety built, very as if they were like. As if they were just that little bit too small to be considered a linebacker.
Okay. All right.
Lanky corners. Always want a lanky corner. Guys who can play a mixture of zone and man. Predominantly man because you can teach. I think you can teach zone. I don't think it's harder to teach man. Man requires a lot more hand-eye coordination and footwork because every break is completely different in man. Zone is all about picking up a guy. It's watching. It's and I like to coach what I call man and less. So even in zone coverage, let's say we run a traditional cover 3. So both corners have deeps. In their back pedal, they are reading their dude. If he breaks in, it's no longer my problem. I'm going to peep out to 2. What's 2 doing? Let's say 2 runs an out route. Okay, he's covered by the flats. Let's look across and see if there's any like crosses or anything coming around before I look at this. Before I can look at the cue, I have a fundamental belief: you must earn the right to look at the quarterback. Because if I catch you staring at a quarterback, I will kick your fucking ass. If you want to ride the pine on my team, stare at a fucking quarterback. Once the snap's gone, there's nothing that pisses me off more than quarterback watching. Because all these guys will ever do will do this. Oh shit, call it. Because you're too busy watching someone else. You're watching the guy with the ball. You're not watching the guy who's going to get the ball. So it's man and I coach man unless you're playing man until he's no longer your man, and that's because of your zone. So if he's deep, he's yours. If he's flat, he's someone else's. Now you might be able to play that. So let's say he goes to flat, you can't find any work. You go down, drive down on that flat. That's fine. There ain't no problem with that. Or if you're really smart, he's going into the flats. You flash your eyes to the quarterback. If the quarterback's looking at him, he's probably going there. So you can come down and play that. It's all about being smart and understanding what they're trying to do. You know?
I like it. Now, final question. If you had an opportunity to interview not just the Bucs, but any professional team, what's like 3 things that you think that you could bring and provide to an organization that would help their team?
I'm never going to say it's going to be my expertise, because I would expect everyone in the NFL to be better than me, because they've been spoon-fed this their entire lives. So what can I bring that's different? A different mindset, a different way of doing things, a lot of fucking energy, a heck of a lot of energy. I'm very put the players in the position. So I consider myself a teacher. I don't consider myself the alpha of a unit. That's to the players. I will probably cherry pick 1 or 2 players in my positional group. So it'll be a corner and a safety that I think is the dog. So that will be the alpha, and they will run the unit through me. So they think they're getting it from their players, from their dudes. They're actually getting it from me. And I think that's a really powerful thing, is that able to impact the players on a level that you're not just telling them what to do. Your dudes are echoing what you've told them to do. So you turn around and say, you need to do this in this break. And then that safety, that's the alpha, turns around and goes, you got to do what coach told you, because he's got fucking bang on right. That will hit. Because when you've got the alpha and the coach and the teacher dealing with the top dog and the teacher, you got to fucking listen.
I love it.
And it's almost like a mind control thing, because you're trying to make them think. Sometimes players think they know better, or if they've been in different schemes, right? If you've been in a different scheme, you come out of this like, I don't know if I believe in that cover 3 shit, man. I don't know about that. Your job is to make them believe, and the way you make them believe is to have everybody else around them go, no, this is the fucking way, dude. This is how we do it. This is how we do it, and it works, and it will work for you too. You just got to get there, and it's almost like you're indoctrinating them into your way of thinking. So that's something I think I can bring to the table. Reaching players, bring the energy, push my players, spend time with my players. I care deeply about my players. I talk to my players about their personal lives on a regular basis. I want to have that close relationship with them, because I don't see them as my kids or anything like that, but like, they're my guys. I want to look after them, and I want them to do well. So we have a bit of banter with each other. We spend time together. We talk outside of the world of football. We talk ball in general, like as in their teams and what have you. So I'm very committed to my players as a group and as individuals.
Excellent. I love it. Again, ladies and gentlemen out there, Buck fans and everybody else in the world, please show your support for Coach Slick of the Sandwell Steelers. Check my YouTube channel out. Give Coach Slick an opportunity. It reiterates all his accolades. So on this last little note, Slick, I'm going to drop this little video, and then we're going to wrap this up. But it's funny. And people out there, again, check my YouTube channel, AJ Turnup TikTok. I'll be getting on there. So apparently I got some people in my own Bucs community, Slick, that just ain't feeling your boy.
I can't wait to see it. And by the way, I probably talked to five Tampa Bay fans in the last week and a half.
Yeah.
None of them agree with all of the stuff that you saying.
I don't give a damn. They can bring their ass on here too.
None of them say all the shit
Why
you
do you
say.
think I care what some we got some
They say you
there's some
they
Buck
said
fans.
they said you're
Buck fans
delusional and you go way overboard.
What he said?
I don't give a shit what they say because they
I'm
don't
just
have no
telling you.
football knowledge.
Because I asked them about you.
And listen,
You know I had to ask them about you, so I had
Ask who?
AJ.
I just wanted to clarify that.
Wait,
who did you ask?
Boom. So apparently, Buck fans don't like the fact that I want this team, that I have a feeling that this team can go to a Super Bowl. These Buck fans don't like the fact that I like the Emeka Ibuka pick, and I said that we are playing chess, not checkers, and that we want to make sure that Godwin and Evans are at their best at the end of the season, so we can actually get there. A lot of people in the Buck community are mad at me, Slick. I don't understand. And mind you, Slick, some of these are the same people, Slick, that they wanted the Bucs to tank last year.
Oh man, anyone who says tanking, I instantly lose any credibility for him. It's the most. It's tell me that you've never coached sports or you've ever been involved in sports if you think tanking's a real a thing that team should like. I get the logic behind it. You'll get a better pick and what have you, right? I get the logic behind it. But at the same time, I can guarantee you will lose your locker room if they know that the organization. Would you? Because everyone looks at it like being paid like everyone's a mercenary. So like, oh, they got their money, they don't care. No, they fucking care. And when you know that you're tanking, when it comes to contract time, you'll be like, you know what? This ain't boss, this ain't a place for me. Y'all do that tanking shit. I fucking wasted 2 years while you fucking tanked to try and get better players. It didn't work. Now, don't get me wrong. If it tanks and it works, those players, when it comes to contract time, might go, you know what? It worked. But I don't like it. Nobody fucking likes it. Nobody fucking likes it because it feels like you're pulling your punches. And if you know you're tanking, other people know you're tanking, and then you're going to meet up with your friends from other teams. They go, you guys are fucking tanking. You're a fucking bunch of pussies. But honestly, this is what it is. It's like, where's your competitiveness? Because the players don't tank. Players don't tank, and coaches won't tank. They don't. Their jobs rely on win-losses. You can't tank in the NFL. Only organizations want to tank. No coach wants to. We saw what happened in the Cleveland Browns with was it Huey Jackson?
Yeah, and I think and Freddie Kitchens and them on that bullshit.
Well, before Kitchens, the one before him. I think it was Hugh Jackson.
Yeah,
and it was when they first got Baker Mayfield, and they sucked. The organization made them fucking do it. He had 1 year with Baker Mayfield to try and fix every fucking thing to keep his reputation, because his reputation was in tatters because he couldn't win fucking games. Lovie Smith, I don't know if the organization was tanking. I honestly don't know. Obviously, he didn't do enough in his second season. A lot of people feel that, but that defense was still sound. In 2015, when we had James Winston, that defense was starting to build something. It was when we brought in fucking Mike Smith, and it just went, you know what? We're just going to concede every fucking touchdown that you throw.
Oh, the Mike Smith days, boy.
But it fucking hit his career because he got the 2 wins. We got Jameis Winston. They went, oh, we kind of getting this a little bit of it. We're building a bit of excitement with this quarterback offensive coordinator tandem that we go in. So we're going to just fuck you off. And we're going to bring this guy in.
This is, again, ladies and gentlemen.
You know what I mean? It fucking ruins your reputation. And
Buck fans,
Smith hasn't done much coaching.
I'm not the only one, Buck fans. Again, this is a certified coach for the Sam West Steelers. Buck fans, I'm trying to tell y'all, there's just certain shit that you don't do, and there's certain shit to believe in. Again, don't allow the internet, the media, Stephen Smith, whoever the fuck, Ryan Clark, Robert Griffin, I don't give a shit who it is. Don't tell them to bully you into something that you know. Remember, 90% of the media don't watch the Bucs like you and I do, like Slick and I, or many. They're just going by what the next big topic is for a pay fucking check. Because if they actually watch the Bucs, they'd go, okay, the Bucs have this division in the bag for the most part because other teams are just not on their level yet. Oh, 5 years, that's a lot.
I've got to pit me for these people who don't about tanking. Tanking is basically letting someone else plow your fucking wife while they pay you.
Yep, you want to be a cuckold? By all means, that's what tanking is. So, don't tank. When you tank, it stank. I'm just saying, guys, we know this shit. And again, if you tanked on your job and not did your job,
you also got to rely on the fucking front office to get every pick right.
Slick, they don't.
And you don't know who's declaring for the draft until they declare for the draft. So what if you're going, oh, you know what? We're going to be in the, we're going to go get ourselves in the Arch Manning sweepstakes. And Arch Manning has a very good season. And Arch Manning goes, you know what? I'm coming back, guys. I'm coming back. And there's more incentive for them to stay in college now because you've had guys. I think there was a gentleman who I can't remember where he went. I think Dylan Gabriel might have been a good example. Shedeur Sanders is fucking an amazing example of this. He made more money in college. You're making more money in college than he is in the pros.
See, but again, people don't like to listen to how things work. Ladies and gentlemen, Slick and I are telling you how football works and how the business works, not by a make-believe, not by a fantasy. And like he said, God forbid if the guy that you do want ends up like a Jahad Campbell. Oh, shit, we could get him.
Jonathan Clowney, remember that guy? That first round pick, first overall pick in the draft by the Houston Texans, and they thought, fuck me, we're going to have J.J. Watt and Jonathan Clowney. It didn't fucking pan out. It didn't pan out. And we'll all talk about the greatness of J.J. Watt. He would be triple teamed, and Jonathan Clowney couldn't get fucking sacks. Clowney couldn't get sacks while fucking one guy was 100% double to triple teamed every single play. And I remember, if my mind hits me correct, they also have Vince Wilfork for a while too.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we're trying to tell you, Buck fans, I'm not talking out of my ass. If I talk passion. Now, I said 15-2 is the ceiling. I said the floor is 13. But if this team stays healthy with the picks that we have, and if Bowles is aggressive, is no excuse at this point. Our schedule benefits us. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bucs have schedule, and then a lot of the teams, Slick, and I'll talk about that another time, that we will play that are good, we'll be able to have film on them. It'd be different if the Bucs had to open with, let's say, the first 7 games, week 2, the Philadelphia Eagles, week 3, Detroit, then week 5, the Rams, then week 7, the Bills.
The schedule balance is out for us.
Yeah, that would be over fucking whelming, but it's not. It's stretched out to where, all
we have to do, we start fast and we close fast. We just need to get that middle shit sorted. And it's been, I'd say, Bowles' bugaboo for the last 3 years.
Yep,
we get to the middle of the season and we just kind of and then we have to kick ourselves in the ass to get ourselves back into gear again. And we do it, but we can't live like that. It's not sustainable. Eventually, one of those teams in the NFC South will get better. They will. Like the Carolina, I'm predicting the Carolina Panthers will be coming the second. They'll be the ones nipping at our heels. It won't be the Atlanta Falcons, and it's certainly Saints will come last. I don't give a fuck what it is. Anyone's put the Saints above anybody in that division. They don't even have a quarterback.
They're lying. Yep. If you put the Saints are about to be the doo-doo stain of the South. But again, like Slick said, let's say the Bucs go 4-0 in the first quarter of the season. Well, we need in that middle season, those 4 games, we need Bowles to be 2-2. Nothing less.
You're 2-2, and then you walk out with the last 4 games of the season, 4-4. You got 4-4. You got 10 wins already, so that's the division. That's pretty much the division locked up.
That's the division locked up, y'all. So we got this. So Buck fans out there, have faith. I ain't lying. You got a certified coach here. On that note, I'm going to get myself out here. Thank you for checking out Bucs Report, the Aftermath 102.9 Game Broad South Street Radio. AJ Turnup. Again, I'll be going live on my TikTok. So check me out, AJ Turnup. Y'all take care of yourselves. Slick, always a pleasure, my brother. Take it easy and go Bucs.
Go Bucs, brother. See you soon.
See you soon.
Okay, guys, that's the end of the show, and I really appreciate everyone coming on, the comments, the likes, and the viewership. We appreciate it. We're still in the mid-season. We're still in the off-season. We're still trying, getting ready for some of these camp stories and what's going to shake up. So that's why we're talking about a couple of different things and a bit of popular culture and sports and stuff. So, but as for me, we've got a bye week, get ourselves healthy, and then we go and take on the team that's second in our division. We beat this team. It really cements our position as the big dog of the Midlands, division. So the Midlands Division 1 setting. So we get that. Then we go 4-0-1. So we drew 1-3. We get this one. We go 4-0-1. Mathematically impossible to have a losing season. We've survived. The first goal of this season was survival. We've stepped up. We got promoted into the first division. Next the division will be Premiership, and after that, we can't go no higher. So yeah, that's where we're at. Where we're at the moment, and we're ready to go and kick Northance's ass. We've got a lot of work to do. Fundamentally, scouting, it's all coming now. But until then, the Buccaneers, they're going to do their shit. They're going to get themselves ready, get this roster ready for us, so we can see what's going on in the preseason, and then we'll get this thing shaken into the regular season. The regular season schedule's been announced, so I imagine you're all booking your tickets and getting yourselves ready and cherry picking your games or what you want to go to. Sadly, I won't be at any because I'm stuck in the UK, and it'll be a few more years before I come back over again. Me and AJ will definitely storm the field, and hopefully some of you guys will come join us. But on that note, Bucs on me, Bucs on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucs!